It is time for health from the inside out. Yeah, it's time for health from the inside out. I have something here from Alana Kettler, and it is an 82-year-old woman with dementia gets her memory back after what? Changing her diet. Who would have thought? Well, we all need to think that because our diet is one of the big things that makes us sick. Maybe we should go back to the instruction manual of Yah and eat what he tells us to eat. Maybe that should be done. Anyway, here we go. Recently, an 82-year-old woman who suffered from dementia, who wouldn't recognize her own son, miraculously had her memory back after what? Changing her diet. When his mother's condition became so severe that for her own safety, she had to be kept in the hospital, Mark came to terms with losing a parent. But a change in diet, which was comprised of high amounts of blueberries, walnuts, has proven to have a strong impact on her condition. So they changed her diet and things begin to shift. Things begin to change. They began putting other health foods like broccoli and kale and spinach and sunflower seeds and green tea and oats and sweet potatoes and even yum dark chocolate with high amounts of cocoa in there, and all of these. Why? Because these foods are brain foods. They are good for brain health, and they incorporated this diet after researching the rates, because the rates of dementia in the Mediterranean area and countries are very low. Other countries don't have a big issue with a lot of this because their eating habits are different than ours. Yeah. Their eating habits are different than ours. And anyway, because of that, because of changing the diet, they immediately saw differences. They immediately saw differences in how she reacted, how she thought things through, just all sorts of things, and all because of a diet issue. Now, here's some other things we need to understand is that if our bodies were made to fight things off if they're given the right environment, period. And many diseases like this are related to what we eat, but because of that, they can be reversed. The world would tell you, no, once you have Alzheimer's, once you have cancer, once you have diabetes, once you have these things, they're yours. No, diet can change these things, as well as cleanses, which we've talked about, and all sorts of other things. But a lot of times dementia and Alzheimer's and things is caused by a heavy metal that's accumulated in our brain. So we've got to detox our brains. Yeah, detox your brains, because we understand that aluminum content of brain tissue and late onset sporadic Alzheimer's disease is higher than those matched in age-matched control groups. Yeah. So individuals who develop Alzheimer's disease in their late 60s and older also accumulate more aluminum in their brain tissue than individuals of some age without the disease. And it's even higher in the brains of those who have early onset dementia or Alzheimer's. So we're talking who may even have signs in their 30s and 40s and 50s, that aluminum content. And where do we get aluminum? Well, guess what? There's aluminum in your deodorant. There's aluminum in flour. There's aluminum in all sorts of things. Your pans, maybe you have aluminum pans, and so we have it in baking goods. We have it in food coloring. Yeah. Like yellow number 5. Also, when we make acidic foods in aluminum, where over-the-counter medications like Maalox, Mylanta, and other antacids have a lot of aluminum in them. And vaccines, well, there's a big one right there. Vaccines have aluminum in them. Hey, they full of aluminum. And like even some of the health, I don't know if you guys use a Milkstone salt stick crystal for your deodorant or whatever, but you got to be careful because they may even contain aluminum. The whole reason you use them is to get away from the aluminum, which I use something like that. But if you're not careful, you'll sort of false advertising. You'll have some sort of aluminum in them. Also, aluminum creates oxidative stress on the cells in your body, and it changes your DNA. It damages your DNA and aging on your cells. I'm telling you folks, I don't want my cells to be aging. I don't want that to happen. And It says that aluminum containing antiperspirants keep the body from sweating and properly releasing hormones out of the body. And this is suspected case of breast and prostate cancer. Wow. So there's a correlation right there. Aluminum accumulates in bone tissues, making them weak, and it's supposed cause, a suspected cause of osteoporosis. It also, once it's absorbed, it accumulates in the bones, in the brains, in the liver, in the kidney, and it has effects. It's going to affect the way you think, the way you be able to process. It's going to destroy pathways. So aluminum robs the body of magnesium, calcium, and iron, and accumulates, as we said, in the brain. Trace aluminum levels cross the blood barrier and progressively accumulate in large paranormal neurons in the hippocampus, cortex, and the other brain regions. And the list goes on and on. Look at the effects of aluminum. It causes granulomas. It's toxic to your skin, and it's it's creative stress in breast tissue. There is so much on aluminum, and even in the vaccines that our kids take. But back to our story, reversing dementia, reversing Alzheimer with your diet. You know, I hear about so many people fearing that in their life, and yet first off, there's no reason to fear, because God did not give you a spirit of fear, but a power and love and of sound mind. But start being aware of what we put in our bodies. Change it, even though it may be difficult, because we like certain things. Well, certain things may bring certain results, and you'll see a turnaround. The diagnosis of the world doesn't have to be yours. But just as a side note, vaccines and aluminum, newborns shouldn't receive more than 17.5 mcg per day. The Hep B vaccine, advised for all children when at birth, contains 250 mcg of aluminum per dose. That's 14.3 times the FDA's maximum limit, and yet that's what we're sticking in our babies the day they're born, usually. Okay, starting them on the path to dementia right there. So change your diet, folks. Change your diet for health, but specifically, let's be brain healthy. Let's be brain healthy and do what we can. And if that diagnosis is in your family, work together and turn things around, especially with prayer and healing. Absolutely. But a change in diet helps along the way. So what do you girls and everybody else, what does everybody think?
Aluminum foil that's on the that you put, and nowadays everybody's saying wrap like, I remember back in, I think it was in the 80s when Dave and I first got married, we took fish and we put butter and everything and wrap it in aluminum foil to cook it. And we've got that happening today. Many people doing that. We all have done it, and we need to get away from that. I mean, they're making it more popular today. And then you talked about the inoculation of the children. The children being inoculated early on, and they wonder why more and more children are being diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, autism.
All right. Sherry, is Joe frozen for you?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Okay, Joe, you're frozen. I'm going to let you jump in there while we're getting Joe back. What do you think about this?
Well, first of all, I think they're just trying to kill us. They're trying to shorten our lifespan, because that's been an agenda for a while. So what better way to do it than mandate all of these vaccines that kids are supposed to be taking? And, when vaccines first started out, they were good in that they put down a lot of disease, but they have put additives in them now that I don't think they had there from the beginning.
Right.
And 30 something shots a baby's supposed to get? Give me a break. When my kids were little, it was just a few, and that took care of the issue, and now they're wanting, these hepatitis. There's some shot that the kid has to be sexually active. I'm going like, a baby is not sexually active. Don't put that in my kid. Give me But they're trying to make it mandatory. I think in some states it's mandatory and stuff. But we have seen an uprising in a lot of these diseases and things in children and in elderly people. And like we said, it was the thing to wrap all your stuff in aluminum foil, to cook in aluminum foil. We have aluminum cans that everything comes in. There's a lot of aluminum. I think they're changing that on the aluminum cans now on some of them, that they're putting some kind of coating or something. I'd have to check it out, but it seemed to me the inside of my aluminum cans look a little different, you know. Maybe they just added more, I don't know.
Back in the 1940s, you know, during World War II, you didn't have aluminum, you had tin cans, and soda pops came in, you know, soda came in a glass jar, you know, glass bottles and everything. And if you look from the time around World War II, that's when a lot of the inoculation started to come forth. A lot of chemical warfare started to come forth, and all these things. And in fact, we can go back to even World War I, where this is where we got bleach and ammonia from, because those were used to make a very toxic gas. And FYI, people, don't mix your ammonia and bleach together, because you can make a toxic gas. But we have that sitting in our grocery stores today, and people don't even know this. And they use these things to clean, you know, ammonia. I remember you'd go into like some of the hospitals when I was growing up, and they were using ammonia to clean the bathrooms, you know, because it cleans it really good. But it was first used for that purpose, just like margarine was used to fatten turkeys. Turkeys didn't want to eat it, so they thought, you know what, let's give it to the people. They'll eat it.
Well, we had a question out here. What else can be used to bake or grill meat in? Desiree asked that.
I'll bake in a Pyrex dish, and I don't ever grill out. So that's beyond my scope of
I
cooking.
have to admit, I mean, we've had like put your meal in aluminum foil and bake it and done that. We've done it too, and it's different. It's not quite the same if it's in Pyrex, but
cast iron, and also just they're finding out that even barbecuing on a grill with the burn marks on there is not really good for you anyway. And we need to also, as a nation in the United States, we eat too much meat anyway. We need to be eating more of fruits and vegetables, and we do taint our meat as well. And we can get into that whole subject about the tainting of the meat too. Yeah, they inoculate with metals on the animals too.
That's true.
You can dig your grave with your teeth. I've heard that expression before.
Wow, that's
your tongue.
Your tongue. So you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the devil's thing. What did he do with Eve in the garden? The mouth, the eat something,
taste.
You know, so I mean, it's more than that, but it's the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Was all there, but it came down to, you know, eating. So there's just a whole lot on that subject.
Yeah.
Well, it's a subject, and we need to be. It's a subject that's broad, and every part of that story we could broaden it. And by the way, when Joe was talking about mixing the two chemicals, I had a friend that died that way. She's a young friend, anyway.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people don't even know it.
It gives you a chemical pneumonia, and you don't know it.
Yeah. It's the cleaning products that are out there. We need to be careful with all of them, because there are, even in one product could be ammonia, and in another product that you get can have bleach, and people are not informed about this. You know, lack of knowledge is going to kill you, and you need to know these things. This is why I do not. I use essential oils mainly and white vinegar to clean my house. I don't.
And I started using a product, Norwex, Norwex. You clean with water and microfiber. And
that with silver?
Yes, it's got silver in it so that it sanitizes itself. So, you know, that's something. Actually, I had a lady here yesterday who's pregnant, and we're very, very careful with her. And she was helping me get the house. We've got Bishop Solomon coming in from the Netherlands, and she was helping me get the house clean. And she was like, "This is really neat. This is really," I said, "it's just water and microfiber." I mean, she was really impressed, because I didn't want her to get into anything, you know, that's serious, you know.
Yeah, because those chemicals go through your skin.
Yeah.
You know, we and even if you wear rubber gloves, people, I'm going to tell you, it still gets in there because those rubber gloves have openings as well. They're not that good either. So, you know, it's something that we need to be informed and be careful and be informed for our children as well. My daughter-in-law chose not to get any of the shots for my granddaughters when they were born. She says, my granddaughter just was born. She's not sexually active. She will not get this stuff. And plus her husband and her, they're just each other and there's nobody else in the relationship. So we will not give that baby that shot either. I mean, there was a litany of 12 shots and she said, no, not even the goop that goes on the baby's eyes was put on the baby's eyes.
We refused that too.
You don't need that. She says, she kind of looked at him. She says, my mother-in-law has enough problems in the gene pool there to where we're not putting that on my daughter to have any other issues. Her eyes are perfectly fine. So, you know, we need to protect our babies.
Sherry, real quick, because we've got to go to our next segment. Desiree wants to know where you get that Norwex from.
You can get it online. Actually, she can email. I am a distributor for it. I'm not advertising me. They have people that sell it. I can give her an online or whatever, you know, I can give it to her. I'm not advertising me on that.
You might stick something in the chat for everybody to know that, because when they listen, they may go, well, we want to try that. So,
okay. I'll give them I can give them my website. I don't do it for the money. I do it because it's so good.
Right. I understand.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.